This is Global Insurance Live, the first truly global version of the Insurance and Finance live show, not only with me, of course, but with a co-moderator of mine, Sabine VanderLinden, you all know very well, and 3 IBM experts for which we have prepared some exciting questions. Don Hammer from the US, Jürgen Huschens from Germany, and Satoshi Fujii from Japan, all live right now around the world. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us.
We will not start with an introduction because A, there is LinkedIn, and database you can buy around the world. Just no pun intended. But let's go into a quick round of questions. I start the sentence and you end it. First, Don, quantum computing is exciting because?
Great question, Robin, and thanks for everyone for joining today. So quantum is relevant because of 3 things. 1 is going to tackle complex problems we simply can't tackle today. 2 is going to enable insurers to introduce new products and services that haven't even been thought about today. And lastly, and equally as important, is one of those rare technologies that fundamentally will reshape insurance as we know it today. So it's exciting to be part of it.
Satoshi, insurers expand or need to expand in different ecosystems, new business models. Why?
Thank you. Because I summarize the reason into 3 points: traditional market growth limitation, new risk profile, and technology enabler. Traditional insurance market growth is limited due to the population and lifestyle change. However, the risk to be covered by insurer is changing and expanding. For example, natural disaster, pandemic, new technology like cyber and autonomous driving, and the technology like AI, cloud, IoT, and quantum can ready to use to monetize more efficiently in new insurance business models. So insurance can expand with a new business model.
Thank you very much. And by the way, we see first people saying hello from Munich, from London, from all around the world. So thank you very much for joining. If you see this, like it, share it, hug your phone because you want to show the algorithm that you love this show. So before I come to my next, let's go to the next question. Jürgen, within the next 3 years, this is going to be the biggest change in the way we work.
Yeah, there will be a pervasive use of AI in supporting the humans and the process, and it will not be, let's say, in a visible way. It will be in an invisible way. In the automated case, in the clerk supporting case, or even let's say that our customers, when they have questions, that there will be machines supporting them in making good decisions and getting immediate help.
Sabine, my big question to you is, what is the biggest success factor when startups and insurers work together? Because you know a thing or two about that.
Just a couple, right? I would say culture, diversity of thought, being able to be agile, open-minded, collaborative is going to be key. And then to be successful, as you know, Robin, we need to talk to the C-level suite.
That's for sure. So Sabine, thank you very much for that. Let's move now to quantum. Don.
Well, Robin. I also have a question for you.
Okay.
So this will be the best insurance live event because
we have the best expert, of course, you, and the audience watching, asking questions. Take a chance to ask here the leading experts from IBM your questions. Don't worry, or also us, or your comments. And I think that's a great. I think that will be a great one. All right. I hope that was good. Let's go to quantum. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel opened the first quantum computer in Germany last week. Don, why is quantum a game changer, and what are 3 reasons why it could be interesting for the insurance industry?
Sure. First of all, I love talking about quantum. So Robin, great question. So before I answer the question, I do want to kind of level set that quantum is still very early in its life cycle today. So a lot of industry experts are kind of saying it's 3 to 5 years before it really hits kind of a commercial applicability. But with that being said, we are talking a lot of insurers today about what can you do today to be quantum ready. So it's still very, very early, but people are getting engaged. And what we're finding, it really crosses 3 types of patterns. The very first one is more scenario simulations. So think about claims and underwriting. The second one is really optimization. So think about premiums and portfolio assessments of your customers. And then also think about AI and machine learning, which really gets back to risk scoring and fraud model. So we think that as your backdrop, and to think about how it's really relevant to insurance, 3 things. One is going to solve problems that simply can't be solved today through classical computer. That is referred to as quantum supremacy. And if you think about a data point, which is I found is very fascinating, is that quantum can calculate 100 trillion times faster than a classical supercomputer. So just think about the processing power there.
There are a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were saying, Don, it can calculate 1 trillion times more faster than you, Rob. And I was like, okay, but that's not important. That's not a lot, but that's a lot.
The second thing is really from a security perspective. So a lot of customers are coming to say, look, a lot of the classical or a lot of the security algorithms today are based off of classical. But in the future, if it's based off of quantum, what does that mean? How do we need to protect ourselves from cybersecurity threats? So security is definitely a big topic. And the last one is very exciting, is that quantum is going to open up new products and services. And a lot of insurers are saying, how do I prepare for that? Yeah. And what are those things that we can really provide a better customer experience? So very exciting times.
And do you have, if you look into the fantasy, do you have an idea how that could look like, such a new product, inside insurance or outside?
So yes and no. The interesting thing about, and I'm going to kind of answer it this way. When you think about financial services, a lot of the folks who are getting engaged are more in the banking and financial market. So like the JP Morgan and Chases are more on option pricings and risk analysis. Goldman is really around derivative pricing, but insurance is still very new. Matter of fact, we really don't have a solid use case where all insurers are kind of raising their hand and says, that's something that means to us. But also that's extremely exciting. And one of the things you mentioned, you mentioned Germany. There's really three countries now where we IBM have engaged to actually build a quantum computer. So Germany's first. The second one is Japan, and the third one is actually in Ohio, where I live, on the Cleveland Clinic. And really, the three countries are really looking at is, we know this is new, we know this is a game changer. How do we actually learn and develop talent in our countries to be able to plan for that? So very exciting times.
All right, thank you very much. And Satoshi, if you look at the situation in Asia and in Japan, how does quantum, are there quantum examples there, or what could be the role there?
Yeah, let me explain the situation of Japan regarding the quantum computing. Quantum computing is also becoming a hot topic in Japan. IBM Q Network Hub, collaborating with the Keio University, has started 2018, and the Japan IBM Quantum Partnership, alliance with the University of Tokyo, have announced the installation of quantum computer, don't say it, and by the end of this year, this is in the US and Germany. At this point, we have just begun to participate in quantum partnership program with academia and small number of advanced companies, for example, chemical and finance institute and automobile. So one of the leading industry is the chemistry. Through simulation, it is expected that innovative material will be created. Mitsubishi Chemical Corporation envisioned the LED and solar cell as a candidate. Also working the lithium air battery, which is also said to be able to store several times as much electricity as the lithium-ion battery used in the smartphone and electric vehicle. Also, Toyota expects to use the quantum computer to analyze the big data on car driving record to find the driving route that avoid traffic jam. For insurance, expected use cases are very limited so far for natural disaster prediction, also they optimize the balance between the cost and risk in the insurance area. This is Japan's situation.
Super interesting. What I take away is also the, I heard the hypothesis that actually for really true autonomous driving, you need better supercomputers like quantum and co. I think that's something super exciting. Jürgen, quantum in Europe. What do you say? What do you see? And what should insurers do about it?
I mean, it's an evolution of technology in the way we can address problems as we discussed already. So the insurance industry, let's say, will be affected in two ways from my perspective. First of all, of course, if the world is changing, the risks are changing. So insurance is impacted in an indirect way, as simply the way research is done and materials are developed and technology cycles are run will change, okay? And that will have immediate impact on insurance, okay? But then also in a direct way, as we had already discussed, in the sense that let's say a new approach to risk modeling will become feasible, in the sense that you can really view it holistically, in the sense, let's say, take the Earth, take the climate thing, don't nail it down into several components, but really ask the questions that the scientists so far were not there to ask because they knew we cannot answer them. So, and it's really important that people get their head around it. And at the end, it's like so many times in our history, it's a new way of using natural science to solve problems, and that requires people who are trained the way to think. And the big problem with quantum computer is to model the problems in an adequate way so that the quantum computer can deal with it. So the big thing for the human brain is to do the transformation of the problem formulation so that it is formulated in an equivalent way in the quantum world, and then the machine can help us to solve it.
Yeah. So, Jens, it's interesting because knowing IBM, right, big company, we know that IBM is not a non-profit making research organization, right? It's $1 billion corporation. So I'm going to come to John and ask, why do you invest so much in this tech?
So great question, Sabine. What's very exciting is IBM, we just celebrated our 110th anniversary earlier this month. And when Arvind Krishna, our CEO, kind of announced that and talked about that, the fundamental heartbeat of that is innovation. And so when you think about IBM and innovation over the years, a couple examples that folks may or may not know. IBM invented the punch card, Social Security, the barcode. We actually helped Apollo programs from a NASA perspective, the mainframe, most recently Watson winning Jeopardy. I mean, innovation drives this industry, it fuels growth, and we're very excited to be part of that. And that ties perfectly, Sabine, to the last topic of quantum, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to be the forefronters. We fundamentally think this is going to change the industry, and that's what feeds our hunger.
Yeah, thank you, John. Jürgen, can I ask you though, when you look at all the changes, right? All the changes happening in the world, whether you look at technology, the way we work, culture, and even, what we've experienced recently, the pandemic. So how is this impacting the way we work? What are the new ways we should be considering today?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got used to the new work normal that everybody is working from home and in a remote way. I think that IBM, I'm almost 30 years with IBM, we could always do this. So that is not new for us. But the really new thing, it's becoming pervasive that, let's say, all parts of the society, from schools to the workplace, have adopted this technology. But as I said in the very beginning, this adoption will be accompanied by infusing AI for decision making and for easing let's say, the way we are working together with robotics, so that the human work will not go away, just the opposite. But the humans can concentrate, let's say, on really tough problems, where you have to think a lot, where you have to have a lot of knowledge and do combination of knowledge in order to get a problem. Or let's say on the society things, where you need emotions, where you need to be positive and feelings, but all the tedious things in the middle, there is a hope that this we can minimize this, or that will finally go away. And then for me, this is a big pattern you can also apply for the work in the insurance companies. That when you take it from the agents, let's say, to the staff clerks, it will be the same. Okay? The agents can really concentrate on the clients and their needs in an emotional way, and to help them with the situations, with the problems, to make good advice. And also the clerks, let's say that the tedious, repetitive things, they will go away, but they can really then do decision making and really look at the situation also in a more holistic way. That are the in my thinking, these are the two big patterns that we would see.
Fascinating. And Satoshi, do you see the same development in Japan? Do you see actually an alignment between the operating environment of the business and the way the channel network works? Because we see a lot of disintermediation, for example, in a number of markets.
Yeah, in Japan market, the digital transformation is a key for all industry. But before pandemic, the overall progress of the digital transformation, the new way of work in Japan has been very disappointing. For example, cloud adoption speed, Japan lags behind South Korea and Australia in Asia, and the private sector investment artificial intelligence is only 2% of that in the United States. The reason of delay is this transformation has been misunderstood as a renewal of a legacy systems. It has been viewed not as a transformation, but as a IT renewal or replacement from paperwork to IT tools. So it's in the incremental innovation, like Japanese phrase Kaizen. Mm-hmm. So also there is a strong tendency to avoid accepting disruptive or radical innovation with employment challenge. This is a Japanese culture. However, for an insurance company in Japan, they are to extend the business in 2019, 2 years ago, amended to the Insurance Business Act of the insurance company to provide the data they hold to the third party. This is a big change for the insurance company. This enabled the insurance company to use the data not only for insurance consulting, but also solving social issues. For example, prediction of the climate change risk, smart mobility service, more detailed, prevention of the car accident by the elderly, optimize the distribution against increase the demand for logistics, stay home, driving a diagnostic and risk alert by connected car, driving record, and so on. In addition to the COVID pandemic forced to change the way of work, need to redesign customer channel strategy from face-to-face human interaction focused model to human interaction and online mix model. As a result, Japanese insurance company enhanced a direct channel using a mobile technology, cloud, and API, and then realized a data-driven personalized service. Health promotion insurance and pay how you drive model insurance are example in Japanese good case.
Fascinating. So what I hear, Satoshi, is, like we see here in Europe, smart home, smart car are becoming really big themes. And you mentioned the problem around the elderly. We have a major problem here as well.
Yeah. And speaking of problems, we have also a problem, because I see out there hundreds of people watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, on my Twitter, on Sabine's Twitter. If you guys are not liking and sharing and commenting, please do that now. Like and make this like button, go red and explode, please, when you're there anyway. So we're super excited that you're there. And don't hesitate to ask a question or just say hi wherever you around the globe are. I would be super interested in where you actually are currently. Shall we go to another creative round? Is that okay? All right. I was thinking about, let's do a game that's called Hot or Not, or let's say Hype or Here to Stay. It's again, I say something and you say it's a hype or not in like 1 or 2 sentences why it's hot or not. Jürgen, remote working, hype or here to stay?
Here to stay forever. Yeah.
All right.
It's simply, it's more natural. It's more natural to be low boundaries between working and not working. The humans, we are not separated in a working piece and a non-working piece, and so why should we do this with respect to place?
Don, crypto, hot or not, or hype or here to stay?
I believe it's here to stay. And the reason I say that is because I think as you take a look at the folks that are now starting to enter insurance, millennials and some of the ones after that, cryptocurrency is starting to be see how they pay. So insurers are going to have to start collecting payments for premiums through cryptocurrency. So definitely here to stay.
Yeah, and we see first insurers actually doing that, but I really hope the IBM quantum computer doesn't mess up with my wallet,
Never,
right.
never.
Satoshi, cloud, hype or here to stay?
My answer is hype. While past years such as AWS, Azure, GCP, and IBM Cloud have been the main growth driver in the cloud market, and also SaaS such as Salesforce and Adobe are also expected to grow soon. And we are seeing the increase of a consultation request from our client. In addition to this trend, the key will be how to efficiently utilize and operate the shared cloud and on-premise system. So architecture change towards hybrid cloud with the engine of hype. This is why I said hype.
Okay, positive hype here. Jürgen, AI, hype or here to stay?
Here to stay. A very good tool to have decision making and make the world smarter.
And by the way, one AI thing that's working right now is we have a simultaneously real-time actually captation in our video on LinkedIn. So they have AI powered behind it. Yep. It's you can when you're in the when they're in the subway right now, they can even watch us. That's really, really great. Yep. Dom, insurers as life assistants, hype or here to stay?
That's another way. I think it's here to stay. And the reason I say that as well is I think insurers are looking for more ways or more touch points outside of just extending your policy or filing a claim. So when you think about what's happening in North America, pretty much all insurers have a telematics, be it smart car, smart home. Those are great touch points. And as a parent of two children, if you think about some of the services like we have strategic partnerships like companies like Groupama. And what they're able to start providing now is that, let's say I have a 16-year-old, he's now 17, but I have a 16-year-old, he just gets a car, and maybe I want to be notified and maybe he's slightly going over the speed limit, right? So if I get that service, now my insurer is protecting my most valuable asset, which is my family, right? Yeah. And then I can have what I refer to as a coaching moment with my son to say, speed limits are there for a reason. So can insurers provide this type of service to policyholders to once again protect our most valuable assets? So definitely here to stay.
All right, thank you. Sabine, we would also like to talk about new business models. I think
yes, certainly. So it's interesting. I was listening to what Don just said around, the insurance companion. So, when you start looking at the world, we have right now, and a lot of conversation happening on LinkedIn, actually, gentlemen. We talk a lot about embedded insurance, ecosystem, networked economy, and disruption. So I would like to ask you, technology does not only optimize existing industries, they also enable new business models. What is your view? And I would like to start with Jürgen with that question.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer, let's say, in the power of this approach. And I'm following this discussion on business platforms for a decade now. And actually, in Germany, we started with a thing called personal electronic health record. Okay? Think about the following. Today, in most of the systems in the world, the system owns your health data. The doctor, the dentist, pharmacist, whoever owns your health data, the only one who doesn't own your health data is yourself. and if you think about it, this is not natural also. And so we came up with the idea to give each of the persons their personal health record. Yeah, so that they can come to the system, and we don't want to change the system, we want to make it better, so that they can come to the system, and the new doctor who's working with you, he can know your history. He can make immediately an overview on your health status and the history. And we had the good luck to cooperate with the largest German compulsory health insurance company called TK in Hamburg.
Yeah.
And they understood and said, yes, this will be a big changer for the system because this will drive all the technological possibilities of telemedicine and all our analytical tools we could use in the medicine. But only, of course, if the data is in the center. And you as an affected person, you don't have to rely on the system, so that at the right point in time they have collected the data for you. So
are people really actually using that?
Yes, it's it actually a little miracle happened in Germany, in the sense that once we kind of built the prototypes and people could look at it and say, yeah, yes, this is great, this is working. And so the politics in Germany, let's say, went on this wagon, and they changed the laws in the sense that from January 1st this year, every German has now the lifelong right to own his personal health record. And for me, this is a big thing about democracy and democratization also in the health system. And now, of course, Sabine, but also from a business platform point of view, because this changes the way the medical system is organized big times. And you immediately have new models of interaction and of helping the persons with their health, but also gaining efficiency in the system to avoid a double and triple medication. So for me, this is a wonderful example on how technology can be used if we apply it on a problem we have as a society and as humans. And then we can create really new things that will help us a lot.
Thank you very much, Jürgen. Don. So I'm hearing that data is the fuel of tomorrow, and then we have to add AI and this great emerging technology together. So can you give us more use cases of what can we do with all this emerging tech?
Absolutely, Sabine, great question, and I'm going to give you three. So if the first one is kind of referred to as a concept of data marketplace. And so data marketplace really says insurers have a lot of great information about their policyholders and their customers. And they also kind of sometimes use external data sources for marketing and advertising. Data marketplace, what if you can combine these, leveraging internal, external data to really cater to your customers? And this fits really well across the entire value chain, be it claims, be it marketing, be it contact center. And even be in the telematics example, if you have somebody driving in a particular area, can you pull in weather data? Can you pull in traffic congestion, redirect that driver to a different location that's safer for him or her? The second one is around computer vision. So think of this as augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. And how do you, especially in the virtual world that Jürgen mentioned, how do you actually leverage this technology to still give a virtualized customer experience? So let's say yeah.
If I'm the COO or CIO or CSO of an insurer and say, that sounds really awesome, but how does that stuff solve my problems right now?
Right. Okay. So let's give you one, self-service. So what we're finding is the average call to a call center, and still a lot of folks still call into the call center. It's about $6 to $8 per call. If you change that to a virtual call, virtual assistant chatbot, it's pennies on the dollar. And so let me give you two examples. CVS and Anthem are examples of this, and I'll give you an Anthem case study. What Anthem is using for data and AI is they're actually doing predictive analytics to understand why customers may call, and they're proactively reaching out to them. They're reaching out to them through their choice. So be it either text or email, their choice. So that's a very specific example. If you could reduce Anthem's calls by 10% and satisfy them even more with the customer through, hey, they know me, they know, and it can anticipate my needs, that is hard dollar savings, and that's getting more loyal customers. So
and I think more loyal CEOs that are watching right now and saying, okay, cost saving, I didn't understand the quantum part, but that's something I understand.
Absolutely. But one thing which is important, I assume, is also, where you put your data. And a lot of conversation Robin and I tend to have is around all that cloud and private cloud conversation. And so I assume, Don, you need to do that different, right? If you want to achieve the benefit from the technology.
You do, and that's perfect. That ties back into that first one around the data marketplace. Really, one of the other concepts of that is typically with insurers, data scientists, the profession, are the ones that typically get access to the data. But data marketplace is, what if you open that up? What if you allow trusted data to be stored in a centralized place, and you are a person in claims, you're a person in marketing, you're a person in contact center? You could go into a single source of trusted data and create your own models that can serve your customers. How awesome is that?
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yes. It's exciting times, exciting times.
And so much more to get done, right?
A lot to get done. I think for a lot of this stuff, the vision is there. A lot of insurers are starting to experiment. So the MVPs, POCs, we're doing garages with a lot of our customers.
Yeah.
And so Robin, as you said, okay, now that we've proved out the concept, now let's save some money and let's improve the customer experience.
And Satoshi, I would be super curious what your perspective is on new business model. Are these topics addressing the situation also of insurers in Japan, or do you have different problems and are looking for new business models there?
Yeah, in Japan, the new business model is mainly come from the new partnership, because insurance company doesn't have enough data to produce a new product or new services. For example, in Japan, collaboration with Instech to the micro insurance with Agility, major Japanese insurance company, work with micro insurance Insurtech, and also collaboration with social network services to get a customer contact point and the behavior of data. One of the mega PNC insurance company on the social media network. So this is come from not inside of the insurance industry, but also come to outside the insurance sector. This is a very important point and different from the other country.
So, gentlemen, should
Go
I?
for it.
Yeah, I have 2 points. Sorry
Okay.
to interrupt, okay, but coming back, let's say, to the data point and how, and the problem in Japan, how can insurance company can access it? Let's say we from IBM, we are working in the area of cognitive input management to make the image history that, for example, health insurer have over the last 30 years, let's say, accessible so that you can use this as a source of data and knowledge about it. So this will be, from my perspective, a big thing to provide the insurance companies with the access and knowledge of their customers. And the second thing I wanted to mention is on the data side, IBM is coming up with a concept and tools called data fabric to get this virtualization that we know from cloud computing also into the data, so that we have we can access data even if we cannot directly access it, and have a kind of virtualization so that consumption of data will be easier. Okay? And this for me, let's say, are 2 big examples that everything is done in order to pave the way into the future so that we can really access these data that we have. Sorry for adding, but I thought I had to say that.
Very important information, actually, gentlemen. When you look at Don, Jürgen, Satoshi, you are covering 3 of the biggest markets in the world for insurance, right? And so when we look at the audience who are listening to us right now, why should they call you?
Don, who should call you and why?
Well, I would say that we're all insurance family here, so Robin. So anybody who wants to reach out and have a conversation, more than happy to do it. I mean, each of the topics covered today, we got great case studies and use cases. Happy to share that. And I would also say is that, Sabine and Robin, you're both very active in social media, as we are. So what I would just encourage everybody to do is, as we post articles out there, as we share points of view, as you facilitate more of these sessions, let's stay engaged. Let's challenge each other. If somebody has a point of view, let's add to it so we all grow as a community. So I welcome everybody's input.
Wonderful. Jürgen.
Yeah. I mean, I always feel it that IBM is working very closely with the insurance industry in order to progress and to change. And so I think I actually have already a very good network of people in the insurance company where we do continuous discussion on what we can do, what it means, what is the direction, what are good experience, bad experiences, and what errors you have to avoid. So, and I'm also a deep believer that several people have to work together in order to find the best. Okay? And I always view myself as a part of this discussion in the sense of that I have a very good overview what's happening in insurance in Europe, and also what we can do with technology. And again, back to the platforms, I also have some other ideas in my head of things that have not been done yet, and where we are looking for partners where we can go ahead.
You know what, Jürgen, we should have the conversation on LinkedIn, through the channel and the invitation that Robin sent. We could actually get people to engage and actually ask the question as well.
Yes,
Satoshi.
because again, good ideas, they have to grow, and this this is an iterative thing where people have to work together and to really harden the idea to the point where it can get real. Sorry for interrupting.
Satoshi, why should we call you Japan?
Yeah, as discussed, the insurance market is changing slowly but surely, and competitor is not only traditional insurer, but insurtech platform like GAFA in United States, both in China, and unpredictable as an industry company. So, in addition, insurance company need to maintain the long-term relationship with the policyholder and the integration with the existing system, so mainframe-based system and the open legacy system. This is a key and the most challenging part of this kind of transformation. We have not only consultant and designer who can apply the new technology and methodology, and also have an engineer who are expert of legacy systems such as COBOL and mainframe and so on. Our technology asset and the people asset, understanding and experience both legacy and cutting-edge technology like quantum and AI cloud and insurance business insight are our greatest value proposition. So I'm looking forward to working with you on your journey transformation into a new insurance company.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don, Jürgen, Satoshi. But Sabine, why should somebody call you?
Well, why should somebody call me? They should call me because I'm the InsurTech queen. And so therefore, we'll continue talking about insurance and technology and transformation online.
Thank you very much. All right, Don, Jürgen, Satoshi, Sabine, it was a true pleasure. Time flies. I'm surely we could have talked for hours, but Don's day just started. Satoshi's day just ended. We're in the middle of it. True global live event. Thank you very much for everybody watching right now. If you watch the recording, do not hesitate to like, share, and comment. We will watch what's going on in the comment section, and it helps to spread the show. We have a lot of comments. Thank you very much. And I would say see you soon at an insurance and InsurTech event around the world.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.